welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of June 5th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez, and with me today, one individual who I feel like I talked to very recently.
Yeah, and this time I'm awake. Benjamin Daniel Wallace. Hey,
Good
guys.
Good morning.
Right up, guys. Devon's not here. Sorry.
Yeah.
But apologies, everybody. The last episode, I was super tired, and I really wasn't present. Like I was here, but not here, if you can grasp my meaning. And so, Stephen, you had an incredible wealth of Star Trek jokes.
I did.
Knowledge.
I was firing on all cylinders, man. Wasted.
And I was firing on a quarter cylinders. I was
You're just puttering along.
And then Devon's all like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be super busy on Friday." And then I was like, "Let's record Friday," because I wasn't here. So,
I can't expect you to be perfect all the time, Ben. Just some of the times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your expectation. Good luck. I mean, I wonder when I'll meet your expectation, because that's.
Oh, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Don't hold your breath.
So yeah, but it's June.
Yeah.
Our kittens are starting to get adopted.
Oh, awesome.
And things are kind of starting to come back to normalcy around here until it's not.
Sure.
Summer's starting, and there's gonna be some travel. There's gonna be some some fun stuff. Also, lots of work and lots of never ending.
We are
wonder.
definitely in that period of life of like go. There's just so many things happening at once. And I feel like for me personally, I'm not a person that likes to have a whole lot of stuff on deck. There's like some stuff like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Here's things we need to plan for. But it's like, I feel like every time there's something that's coming, it's like a weight on me. And then there's like more and more, and it just starts stacking up. And then pretty soon I can't handle anymore. And recently that was happening a bunch. And like right now, for example, right now we're having last day of school for the kids. So that's like huge. I've got 2 kids that are going to be underfoot now for months. It feels like forever. So that's one thing that's not sitting on my neck. Another one, going on a trip, going to Disneyland, and which is fun, but I'm not a traveler. I don't like the travel part of it. So like the stress of that.
You are not.
No, I do not like. Once I'm there, it's fine. In the car,
So like, okay, years and years ago, prior to children on either of our sides, we took a trip down to Disneyland for several days, and we went on the train.
We did.
Would that improve things for you?
Maybe. So like this is
all right.
I mean this is a subject that I have talked deeply with a therapist about. And so it really, there is something deeply ingrained in me that traveling is bad. And it stems from traveling with my parents and them constantly not getting along. And so somewhere deep in my brain, it's like, oh, travel's coming. Get ready for a terrible time, like no matter, and that's just in there. And even though that's not what happens anymore. And so it's like this internal struggle that I have of like, I want to be there with my family. I want to go and do these fun things, but also a big part of me is just like, just stay home. Don't do that. Just stay home and leave it alone. And curl up in a little ball and be safe. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so that's the style of trip, the way that it happens really isn't important. Because this even happened with short trips, going somewhere for an hour drive somewhere. So like, 5 hour, a plane ride. It's the same feeling. Anyways, that's my baggage. But so I've got that sitting on me. We're having bathrooms remodeled. That's sitting on me. It's like it's a bunch of stuff. So
hang in there, man.
What?
You got this.
Yeah.
Hang in there, man. You got this.
You know that poster, that kitten that's like hanging there, right? Like hang in there. Yeah. I've got one claw that's like jammed into one branch that's not letting go, but that's the only one that's in there, and it hurts, but it's in there, man.
I hope that anybody that looks into my eyes, that they just see that poster is like, that's all that's in my brain. That's it.
that's a constant. Oh man,
right?
Isn't it fun being a millennial?
I hope they feel it.
All right, so Devon's not here this week because we're recording 3 days after our last episode. Because like I mentioned, I'm heading off for a family vacation in a few days, and so our recording schedule is getting screwy again. And we're gonna work our way through that. We're doing our best here. And in fact, our patrons know. Pre-show, we had a big chat about things going forward, and I think what we're doing here, just to let all of our listeners know.
Oh, you're gonna.
I'm just gonna say.
I know that we haven't run it by the boss, yet.
I'm the captain now. If he's not here, he doesn't get a vote. That's how it goes.
Sure.
We're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're not a patron, you can shut up.
Yeah.
As I said last episode.
Speaking of just to divert to that real quick. Thanks, Greg, for responding and putting stuff on our Discord. We had a little chat there. He said Devon's correct. The boys' finale was great, and blank just finally figured out they were being made fun of, and Homelander isn't a good guy. Which is is exactly, that's great. So the show's going to change just a little bit. We're going to put book club on hiatus for a while, just because our lives are so chaotic right now that to have it's becoming a pain, and we don't want it to be a pain, and so we're just going to skip it for a while, probably for the summer. We're just going to put pause on the book club. But that's fine, because we're going to talk more real life, more future or now. And that's okay, I think. So that's what we're going to do. And if Devon doesn't like that, he can suck it. Here's the thing about Devon.
Well, he's a patron though.
He's not here.
Please don't shut up, Devon.
Devon. How could he shut up even more? No. Here's the thing with Devon. I'm going to say, hey, Devon, there's one less thing you have to do. And he's going to go, great. That's fine. He's the laziest boy in town. It's okay. That's why we get along so well. All right. So let's get moving on this episode. Let's talk about fun things.
Sure.
We talked about this last week, or last episode, I should say, a few days ago. For All Mankind season 5 finale. It was season 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I finished it. I finished season 5.
Okay.
And so now I can talk about it.
Yeah, man. Okay. So what do you think?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's,
all right.
I mean, really, like the thing that drove it home for me that you were talking about last week is how different the show is from where it started to where it is now. And I really felt that in this season. Because it's not, it went from like space travel and exploration and overcoming obstacles to like a civil war on Mars, which are very different types of stories to tell. But they still shoved some space travel in there. And that was like the best part to me of the finale was the sacrifice. The sacrifices made with the Titan trip. I was like, this is For All Mankind. This is why I watch the show. Not the Mars stuff is fine, but that's a different show. And I don't know if I would watch that show, but I do want to watch For All Mankind. So
it's odd though, because so much of the vibe of what's going on Mars this season is just a retread of what had happened the previous season.
Yeah.
Right, like with the hijacking of the asteroid, and like it was like consequences of what
Mm-hmm.
that means, but also those were unresolved issues in terms of the politics, and it's still unresolved. And it's like, okay, well, you know, and yet, like, what's new? What's happening? You know,
Yeah.
and so
It
like there was a bit of that, and then also just cinematography and
Oh,
the
their
set
their
design
their
was not
budget
as
has been
interesting.
slashed. Their budget's been slashed.
Yeah.
When during the last those last two episodes, which there's some overlap in those episodes, timeline wise, and we don't need to get into that. But the thing that pulled me out of it, and I was like, oh, they are going to set up the final fight at the set, the big set that they built for this year that we were introduced at the beginning of the season, the like downtown Mars area. It was like, oh,
Right.
they
Yeah.
only have a couple of sets. And like so there's hallways, there's rooms, and then there's that like promenade area. And like that's
Hmm.
it for and the Moxie. Like
Right.
so they have like 5 sets and to pull off the season. And they did great. Like when you think of it in those terms, it's like, oh wow, they actually told this whole story like on a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. Uh, that being said, like, oh, and the whole like when you said before, like the whole Mars storyline, which if you guys, for the listeners, if you don't know what we're talking about, I'm sorry, but for all mankind, like I'm not going to recap all of it for you, but there's Mars and there's Earth, and they're having issues, and they're trying to work them out. But that was kind of the plot of the previous season, and I think what kind of threw us as fans for a loop is after a major thing happens. So last season with the asteroid, right? There's this asteroid. It's got a whole bunch of a mineral on it that like everybody wants, and Mars kind of stole it. They wanted to take it to put it in Earth orbit so that Earth could mine it, and instead Mars said, "No, we're going to take it and we're going to mine it." In previous seasons, the time jump after that event would be like, okay, now all of that's been resolved between seasons, and here's the new thing for this season,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But instead they went, it's still going. Like so, it felt
Right.
like the time jump didn't do anything. Where every other season, that time jump was like, ooh, like how has the world been reset for this season, right? And so you got to like watch the little
Yeah.
things for the in between to kind of have it make sense. And for season 5, that it just felt like season 4 went right into season 5.
Yeah. And that's interesting. Like that, what you're talking about there reminds me a lot of Fringe, where every
Mm,
season you start the season and you're like, okay, what's happened? What's new? Like what
right.
has happened since the last time I saw these characters? We're in many cases in, in
The,
Fringe, spoilers,
yeah.
you're in a different universe
Right.
than you
Right.
were the previous, the last episode.
The original
And
universe hopping show. That's great.
right. Yeah, yeah. And so like and it's very much like discovering, you pay attention to every line of dialogue and every look that a character gives another character, just to pick up on all the strands and threads of what isn't being shown but what is absolutely imperative to understanding what's going on in the universe. It was a show that demanded attention, um, and really rewarded you for it. And this season didn't quite do that
No, not
so
not
much.
until like the very end.
Right.
Like this
Yeah.
show or this season, I think would have been better served to have the Titan mission be the A plot and Mars stuff be
Yeah.
the B plot. And instead they were
Yeah.
swapped.
Well,
Which,
okay,
you
so
know,
and then there was the C plot, right? Which was revolving around the Stevens daughter,
right,
Danny
yeah.
Stevens' daughter, right? Who because it was such a C plot, I didn't realize until about halfway through or three-quarters through a season that she was a distinct character from Boyd, who was the Mars peacekeeper.
Oh, right.
Like
Yeah, they kind of
I was
felt the
thinking
same.
I was thinking we yeah, I was kind of thinking that we were seeing the backstory of Boyd through most of the season whenever we were seeing
Ah,
the
okay.
Stevens kid. And and
It
so
doesn't
like
help that
when
she
they
had a
were
different last name as well. So
right,
yeah,
Jarrett, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And so I was like, oh well, obviously these names are interchangeable for these characters entirely. So obviously, what's to say that this isn't just the same person a few years later with a different name?
right.
Because it seems like their backstories are very similar, at least what we're getting.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of confusion throughout much of the season, and was like, oh, I'm paying attention here because that would be interesting if we are seeing that this character, this Martian peacekeeper, is actually like tied to the rest of the story in some interesting way.
Mm.
Was
Okay.
not. She's a fine character. They're both fine characters, being separate.
Yeah.
And where it ends up is fine.
Yeah.
But also is just like it's just another story about insurrection and rebellion and what fuels all that sort of stuff, which is done far better in Andor. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, Andor. Oh my gosh.
so, like, yeah. Anyhow, all that being said, we get the Titan payoff, which how interesting, and then we also get the flash forward to 2020
Mm-hmm.
and the final scene. Did you understand what was going on there?
No, I had to look it
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
did you look it
I
up?
had to look it up too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And so
before we
that's
get to that, hold on,
oh
because I wanted
sure.
to go
Okay.
back and talk about the Stevens kid. So the thing I thought that was really cool, with the whole Stevens kid and
Mhm.
with Alex, right, which is the
Yeah.
Baldwin kid, is that by the end of this episode, or the end of the finale, it kind of sets up those two as like the leaders of the next generation a bit, like because
Right.
this has been a generational show, and if they had stuck with that a little better, it would have been nicer. But like from the very beginning, Gordo Stevens and Ed Baldwin were buddies, and their families were somewhat intertwined, and drama and all that.
Yeah. In many uncomfortable ways.
Yeah, yeah, which is fine.
I'm
Uh,
looking at you, Danny Stevens.
oh, Danny. Oh, Danny. But then, so
Danny.
now we get so now we're two generations later. Is that, yeah, because now they were the
Pretty much.
grandparents. And
Yeah.
so because of that, when the Stevens kid was first introduced in this season, I was like, oh, she's going to be important just because of her name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then, like, as I'm watching the show, I'm like, oh, okay, and now she's going, and then, I'm not going to go to space, but I am going to go to space. I was like, she's going to go to space. Like this, the trajectory is already there, So that
Yeah.
for me, as a viewer of the show and of knowing who these characters are, I was like, okay, it's kind of like when you watch the prequels and you're like, well, Obi-Wan's not really in any danger because we know that he survives, right? Like that's kind of how I felt about this character. Like, oh, this is the Stevens kid. She's going to survive to the end because she's important to the overall plot of the series and
Right.
these families. So
Yeah. Okay. So, all right.
meta
You bring up
watching.
Star Wars.
Yeah, let's go.
You bring up Star Wars, and it's like, is it important? Now, okay, one of my favorite parts about The Last Jedi is the fact that it completely and utterly removes the fact that it matters who your parents are, right?
Yeah.
Is it important to have characters that are biologically related to people we've seen in the previous seasons?
I mean,
right?
It depends on the
when you're
show.
having large time jumps like this,
Mhm.
like I don't know, I feel like that dependence on that is worthless unless you do something interesting with it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, like, if they've done something interesting with that. Like, I think that the most interesting thing that we've seen is the fact that the main character through all 6 seasons of this show is Alita. We saw her as a little girl in the first episode, and she's
Yeah.
still alive.
That's right. I forgot that she was the little girl. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She was a little girl, emigrating to the United States, and and look how far she's come, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's the CEO
She's the new Molly.
of,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, she's the CEO or Margot. You mean.
Margot. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. hmm And so yeah, I mean, we still have Margot in the show too, right?
Yeah, just barely. She's
Um,
hanging out. Well, I don't know about next season with the time jump if she's still going to be around. I
yeah,
bet she will be. Uh,
possibly. But
so
yeah,
let's talk. You had brought it before I made us go backwards.
sure.
The time jump at the end of the finale
hmm
zooms out from Titan, goes to the rings of Saturn, and then so here's the problem that
It goes to a ringed planet. May or may not be Saturn.
well, okay, the
Like you see
way
rings.
the way that it zooms out from Titan and pans up to a ringed planet really makes you think it's Saturn.
Maybe. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
So,
But then you see a ship.
yeah,
It's Russian in design, and you're like, it's vaguely familiar,
mhm.
and it's got some hull damage. It's got a big hole in the side,
The camera
and
zooms
the
into.
camera
Yep,
zooms in. Yeah, and there's a computer terminal that flickers to life and says
and
something in Russian.
yeah, the Russian Cyrillic comes out.
Yeah.
So,
Now, mind you, previous seasons, I think that like this sort of thing has always been set up as like a, hey, look what cool stuff we've got coming up. And here, this felt way more ominous. It felt more like the expanse protomolecule sort of thing going on.
mhm.
Um, Especially after the previous scene of seeing Kelly on Titan with the bioluminescent
Yeah,
life forms. Um, so what they don't tell you that you kind of need to remind yourself about is that this ship was Mars 94 from the third season when Earth, like Russia and United States were in a race to get to Mars.
and Helios, because it was a three-way
Helios.
race. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Russian ship had some kind of issue, and they, the United States or Helios were about to win the race, but they turned back around and they rescued everybody on Mars 94
Right.
and took them off the ship just in time for whatever disaster to befall it. And so that's the ship that's still out there, and it's been traveling for 20 years now,
Yep.
forgotten by the audience as much as it's forgotten by
Yeah.
by everyone in universe, it seems.
Exactly.
Um,
So the one of the problems I had with this season, and then especially this ship at the very end, this show got really dark, like
Yeah.
dark in the way of like, yo, turn some lights on. I can't tell what's happening. I had to close.
gotcha. The Game of Thrones occasion of it.
Yeah, I had to close blinds to watch the finale because it was so dark. I couldn't tell what was happening. There's too many reflections on my TV, and especially at the very end, the whole Mars 94. I didn't see that. Like, so that last scene where it goes from Titan to maybe Saturn to this the Mars 94 ship and inside. Once like the ship kind of flies by the camera, and then it just for me it just went dark. I couldn't tell what was happening until like the computer panel lit up and the Cyrillic went, and then it cut, and I was like, okay, let's rewind that and get closer to the TV and watch it again. And I did. I still couldn't tell
Yeah.
what was going on, so then I went to YouTube and found a video of like a recap thing, and then they're like, oh, this is Mars 94. I was like, oh, that's what this is. Okay.
Right.
So like I
And
didn't understand any of that. I was just like, what is this?
I think that
yeah.
that is a fundamental. I think it's bad. I think it was poorly done.
Yeah.
Like
Not good.
because every other time jump we've had in this show illuminates information for the audience.
I mean,
This-
think about the Nirvana song and a person walking on the surface of Mars. That was like,
Right.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
That was exciting. This was just confusing.
Yeah, precisely. And not a good look going into the final season, to be honest,
No.
yeah. However, we still have Star City. So
Yes.
I hope you get to watch it sometime.
Yeah, I
'Cause-
look forward to it because
yeah,
it seems like
yeah.
the whole Russian side of the story, a lot of it is cloaked in mystery because that's
Mhm.
how the Russians in the show operate. You know, they're not, they keep secrets, right?
Yeah.
And so to
Yeah.
see all the secrets and how that plays into the all the secrets that we're going to see in Star City and how that will illuminate things in For All
Yeah.
Mankind, I'm excited for that. So the Mars 94, if you remember, Sergey,
Yeah.
what's her name's like Russian buddy, they were kind of had an on and an
Yes.
off again thing. He was part of the design of Mars 94, and so
Right.
whatever's happening in the 2020s with that ship is probably going to tie back into Star City and the design of that ship, right? So I think they're
Yeah.
kind of retro, or not retrofitting. What's the word when you go back and rewrite stuff? Why is my brain not working?
Uh, yeah.
Retcon.
Yes.
They're retconning Mars.
Retcon.
They're going
Yeah.
to retcon Mars 94 a bit with Star City, I think. And if they can make it work,
So
that's fine.
yes, Sergey Nikolov,
Uh huh.
Sergey Nikolov. He's a main character in Star
Oh,
City.
there you go. 100%.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah. And in fact, I didn't realize that. Like Nicole's like, "Hey, is that the same guy that was Margot's love interest?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, it is." Different
Yeah.
actor, of course.
Sure.
But
Younger and
yeah,
all that.
yeah, and it's interesting cuz like by the end of the second episode, Nicole was like, "I'm picking up on what's going on here,"
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, and it's fascinating too because the sorts of things when you know what's been going on in For All Mankind and you're seeing what's happening in Star City, and you see how much the Soviet government is lying to its scientists
Mm.
in order
Mhm.
to control
Control the narrative.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
not just the
there's
narrative, but just control what's going on.
and in real
Um,
life, that's how a lot of the space race went as well. Like there are
yeah.
undocumented reports of way more space missions than what has been officially, put out
Mm,
there with sending
confirmed.
people into space. Like the that one YouTube channel, Answers with Joe. He has like a whole like one episode all about that, and it is haunting at certain points because there's this one
Mm,
transmission that was recorded before the first man in space, right? Because they had the first dude go up there after like all the animal testing, and there's this haunting recording that somebody took that it sounds like it's just what was being transmitted was like a heartbeat and breathing, and that's it. Like
mm,
the idea is that they sent somebody up there first just to see, and they were like a sacrificial lamb to see like, all right, can you survive? Like, can you survive in space? Yes, cool. Now we know that there was no plan to bring you back,
yeah.
and it it's haunting. It is absolutely haunting. So if they bring in that kind of stuff into Star City,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
that would be
the show
really
has a
cool.
very, very different vibe from For All
Yes.
Mankind.
Yes.
And it's really fascinating. We're watching it and skipping past a couple scenes with Flint.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Uh, well, there is some explicit stuff going on,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, not we're not problem for us. The problematic stuff is like he's just tremendously uncomfortable about sex,
Oh, sure. Yeah, adult
Yeah,
stuff.
which totally makes sense. But language, plenty of language, plenty of
Yeah.
really, really uncomfortable torture and
Oh,
and the dispatching of human beings in that show. And that's like he was like, I'm not sure I want to keep on watching this. I'd rather go back to watch For All Mankind. And I'm like, you want to give it another episode? He's like, yeah, maybe. So yeah, but it's just wild to see like all these characters and the Soviet Union uh, controlling things by telling them that yeah, it's like it's a globe-trotting adventure. The second episode they spend a lot of time in Paris, and it's
Oh, interesting.
because the Soviets are like, well, hey, we want to promote the like superiority of Soviet Russia,
Right.
and so we're going on a world tour to show, hey, we just had a female cosmonaut. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Like
but
I forget that. Go ahead. Sorry.
that wasn't the original female cosmonaut that was supposed to be going up, and
Oh. Oh. Okay. Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
so it's there's
I kind of forgot that that when the show For All Mankind started, it was like this puts Russia in a superior position over the United States because they got to the moon first. Like that's the whole
right.
premise of this whole show. That's the kickoff. And it seems like through the seasons that just kind of went away and was no longer front and center. And because we kept seeing everything from the US's point of view, and this Russia side was so secretive that it just kind of felt like after a while that just kind of faded away. And then it turned into this like, there's Jamestown and other things, the moon base, all that. And then it all shifted to Mars. And
we put guns on the moon in the second season.
that's guns on the moon, which they referenced in the finale of like, how do we defend the Mars base? Well, let's do what they did to us on the moon. Shut down, vent certain hallways to, the atmosphere so they can't be used. And they didn't even like show that very much because they didn't have the sets. So they just like talked about it. That was the other thing about the season. We can move on after this. But
sure.
The other thing about the season, like there was almost nothing on Earth.
Yeah.
There was like some, transmissions from Earth. There was a little bit with the one Marine girl, the Not Stevens girl.
Yeah, Jarrett.
Jarrett. There was a little bit with her, but again, it was like a reused set of like a bar that was, redressed. And then it was all just spaceships and Mars and a couple of Mars things. Anyways, still a cool show. I still recommend it, but it is on fumes. And so I think this next season being its final season is probably a good choice at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as long as, who knows? Every season they react to what they've done before, right? So,
yeah.
I have high hopes for next season.
What
because
is
it's
the time jump? It's only like 8 years because it wasn't 2012.
It's to 2020,
right? But this season wasn't this season 2012.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yes, it's only 8 years. And that's kind of why I imagine that they're only doing one more season is because it's catching up with modern day, right?
Yeah, that as well. Like I remember we were hoping like that they would go into the future of like go to modern day and beyond, but they just decided to stay on Mars for a while. Like we didn't see the moon at all this season.
There was
right?
I think there was one scene because I think that Jarrett had trained on the moon.
Oh, okay. So there was something
at one
about
point,
it, maybe.
Yeah.
But
they were on the moon for like a couple scenes.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. All right, For All Mankind, some thumbs up, some thumbs down. We'll see what happens. Okay, so before we get to our break, I wanted to talk about one last thing, and that is the kids and I finished Gravity Falls.
Dude, excellent. Okay.
So yesterday after school, I was tired and it was a hot day and I just wanted to sit down and watch some TV, right? And so I was like, hey kids, should we just watch some Gravity Falls? And they were like, yeah. And so we sat down and we watched the last 5 episodes of the second season just all in one go, which wasn't like really the plan, but it was very quickly the plan because the last 4 episodes are part 1 through 4. It's one big episode.
Okay.
So we watched the 5th to last, and I was like, okay, cool. And then the 4th to last was like part 1, and I was like, oh, okay, we're watching we're watching the rest of it now. Like we can't stop. And it's called Weird Mageddon because things get weird. But it was great, man. What a great show.
Awesome.
It's 100% stuck the landing. It left some small doors open for the future if they ever wanted to go back to it, which it's been like, I think the last season was in 2015, so it's been 11 years since the last bit of it. But the show continued right up to the end to be consistent, and with its story, with its characters, with its locations, with its craziness, with it fired on all cylinders the entire time. There was not an episode where it was like, oh, that episode, that one wasn't as great. That never happened with the show for me. Like sometimes when I watch these kid shows, right, and I don't get as attached as I did to Gravity Falls because this was a good show, but some of the other ones when we watch them, I walk away, or it's like, this is boring, or this, they don't know what they're talking about in this episode. I don't get attached. This was so well done that there were certain points where I was just like edge of my seat, like what's going to happen next. Like I was in it with these characters. And it is so rare that a kid's show does this. And it was very clearly a kid's show. It never crossed that line to be like, oh, this is more like an adult show now. It stayed consistent the entire time, where like every now and then it got right up to the boundaries of like weirdness and creepiness, but then it always pulled it back to be like, nope, still a kid's show. It was like just enough the entire time. And highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it to watch with your kids. This is I would say, like, let's see, my youngest, she's 7, almost 8. Perfect age for this. Mm-hmm. There's enough like questions and like, what does this mean, and stuff that she missed that then we can talk about later. And then the 11-year-old, same thing. Like she was locked in as well, with everything and the characters and all that. And then
your daughter likes to draw one of the characters every morning.
Oh, which is it? A triangle person?
Yeah, the triangle.
Okay, that's the big bad. That's Bill Cipher.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so like that triangle person thing is like, if you know how some shows will have like a symbol or a character or a something that when you see it you automatically know, like, oh, they're referring to this entire series. Like for that, if you see a drawing of Bill Cipher or you see that picture on someone's shirt or something, you're like, they are a Gravity Falls person immediately. Like you just like, boom, there it is. Because that character just haunts the show the entire time, which is great. Anyways, amazing show. The creator. Oh, that was the other thing. So we finished the show. We were talking about it. Cool. During we had cereal dinner last night because I was like, I'm not cooking tonight. I just watched a bunch of Gravity Falls. I'm not in the mood. So every now and then I tell the kids, like, hey kids, do you want cereal for dinner? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, yes. Just one of those things. So we're eating our cereal, and I had come across on YouTube somebody that was like all codes and ciphers like decoded for the entire Gravity Falls series. And it's a 2-hour and 15-minute video. And so I started watching it with the kids because like a lot of that stuff went completely over their heads. Like they noticed some of it. Like for example, at the end of every episode, as the credits are rolling, credits typically rolling at the bottom of the screen. In the top of the screen, there's like one last little epilogue bit that's usually a joke or something to like wrap up a loose end or something typically kind of unimportant but fun. And like from the first episode, has a bunch of gnomes in it, and one of the gnomes gets like during the episode gets sick and throws up, and they throw up a rainbow, and it's hilarious. So then at the end of the episode, as the credits are rolling, the whole time there's just a gnome barfing a rainbow like the entire time. So you're watching it going like, this is hilarious. But then at the bottom of the screen, like a code, like a bunch of seemingly random like letters show up just for like a second, like as the credits are flashing by. Enough to notice, it wasn't like a super quick flash, but it's enough to be like, oh, that's something. And if you investigate that and you find out like, oh, this is a code, and when it's deciphered, it says, welcome to Gravity Falls. And it's like, oh, okay. And that continues throughout the entire show, and especially in the second season, there's more difficult codes and ciphers, and they are spread out inside of the episode. And there were many episodes between the seasons that there was a bunch of them in there teasing what was going to happen in the second season. And there were even like flash video games on the Disney website, which are now gone, but you can still find somehow. And there's a bunch of stuff in there as well. And so all of that is wrapped up in this one YouTube video. And the kids were just like, what? And even one of them, they go through like the books that were published. And my youngest daughter has one of these books. And it was a book that was published between the seasons. And it was like Dipper and Mabel's Guide to the Unexplained or something like that. And within, it's like a book that is framed as being written by the two kids, the two main character kids in the show. And there's all these like different codes and symbols and all this stuff in there as well. And so this video goes through all of it. And even the guy in the video is like, I didn't solve all this. I just wanted to make a video that that catalogs all this stuff so that if you're trying to solve this stuff on your own and you get lost, you can refer back to my video to be like, oh, this is how you solve that thing. And because of that, because the show was so good, the showrunner apparently got kind of burnt out after the 2 seasons. And that's why we only have 2 seasons. And then got signed on to Netflix to do a bunch of stuff and only did a little bit of stuff. And now at a recent con was like, we're coming out with an art book for the show. And, you know, again, this is like 11 years after the fact. And the fans are just like, we cannot wait because there's going to be more codes. There's going to be more secrets. There's going to be more behind the scenes stuff all intertwined in this book. And everyone's like hoping for like a season 3 or some kind of continuation to exist. Because these 2 seasons is one complete summer for these kids. The first episode, they get there. The last episode is the last day of summer, and they're leaving to go home. So it's such a nice wrapped up package that a season 3 isn't even really like, it could take place 10 years later. It could take place, 100 years later. There's time travel and stuff in the show. Could take place 1,000 years later. There's a time baby at one point. It's wild. It is completely wild. That's enough Gravity Falls. Still a great show. I recommend it. Like Devon said last week, his kids were kind of interested, and before he knew it, they finished the show. That's the kind of show it is. So check it out. We are going to take our break now. And when we come back, we're not doing book club. We're doing Future or Now.
Now, Stephen. Now.
So we'll be right back. You ever notice how everyone in sci-fi movies has a secret society they belong to? The Jedi, the Bene Gesserit, the Illuminati, or whatever? Well, guess what? So do we. It's called our Patreon, and if you join at patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast, you'll get access to exclusive content, our Discord, and knowledge that normal listeners will never understand. Join us, or remain in the dark. Your call. And we're back.
Hello, and a big thank you to our patrons, Renee and Josh. You guys are great.
They got to hear how excited we are about Wolverine.
Time flies.
Time flies. That's right. So become
More
a
on that as it
patron.
develops. So here we are.
Yeah,
it is
Future or Now.
Future or Now. So I don't know. You want me to? Me to go?
Let's hit. Is it going to be future or is it going to be now?
Well, let's do now.
All right.
As of today, as we're recording this, Friday, June 5th, astronauts have been told to return to the International Space Station after sheltering over air leak repairs.
That's right.
So,
I forgot about the air leaks.
So there are some air leaks in the PRK, which is a small tunnel that connects a docking port to the Russian Zvezda service module. And so there's microscopic structural cracks in its walls that have been slowly releasing air into the vacuum of space. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit about that. It's not great, but it's also like an additional leak that's putting the ISS crew on alert today. It's not new. It's been one of the most persistent and troubling problems in the station's history, and they've been trying to fix it for years. So, yeah, they earlier today, the all the astronauts have been told to shelter in their spacecraft while repair works were carried out on new air leaks in the Russian segment of the station. Now they're back in the International Space Station proper, but they've been told to assume a, quote, elevated safety posture as two Russian cosmonauts continue to attempt repairs on the Zvezda service module's transfer tunnel.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's
again,
the incredible thing about space is just how dangerous it truly is, and how
it's not really hospitable to us.
It is not. And to go back to For All Mankind, they really pushed that in the early seasons, and now not so much.
Well, Star City.
Star City.
You can get a lot of that in Star City.
Fantastic.
But I mean, also, I mean, this season in For All Mankind, they did have with the destruction of the food supplies.
That's right. Yeah,
Mars.
they destroyed the domes, the food domes.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I just don't want to get back into For All Mankind.
Back to For All Mankind. Let's go.
Destroying all that food. They were like, oh, we have like 2 weeks of food left. Like, oh man, we only have 2 weeks of food left. 2 weeks of food. 2 weeks of food. And then we never heard about it again until the last episode where it shows them replanting. Like, what about all the starvation that was imminent?
Yeah,
that doesn't just go away.
Yeah. I'm assuming, and we have to put in a lot of asterisks here. It seems that they received a shipment of supplies from Earth during that time, along with the ceasefire.
But so that's another thing, is that they are not putting like upfront travel times anymore, right? It used to be like, okay, we can get a resupply in 3 months, or like they never really say. And so they don't give us enough information to think about it. And so it just goes.
They do on the trip when Alita goes to Mars earlier in the season, but not at the end. They were kind of just sweeping a bunch of stuff up, and cleaning it all up.
Little Game of Thronesy there at the end, where traveling across Westeros used to be a 3-episode event, and now it happened in a screen wipe. That's fine. Yeah. So we have real life For All Mankind happening up in space right now. That's incredible. Like, do you know if we have continuing like resupply up to the space station? Because I don't really hear about it.
I know that right now they are working on the decommissioning of the ISS and the plans to establish a new orbital base.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's a Nicole was just sharing with me earlier today. There's a kind of, I don't know if it's a traveling exhibit about the oh man, and for some reason my Star Talk, the Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast had a guest on recently talking about the future of space stations and how they're designing the next space station, which pretty cool.
Want to know a cool connection between Star Talk and Gravity Falls?
Yeah.
So within Gravity Falls, there's a pig that that Mabel, the girl, wins at a fair because she you need to guess the weight. If you correctly guess the weight of the pig, you get to take it home. And so she correctly guessed the weight of the pig named Old 15-pounder.
I wonder how she did that.
Yeah. So then she names it Waddles, and then she has this pet pig for like the rest of this series. Well, there's one episode where, and I believe it's a bit of a what if kind of episode. Because one of the one of the codes in the back of that episode says non-canon, because it's like a dream sequence or something. Anyways, the pig becomes intelligent and is voiced by Neil deGrasse Tyson for one episode.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, and so the pig is suddenly extremely smart and is doing all this stuff and voiced by Neil deGrasse Tyson until the end of the episode, where the pig decides being that smart isn't fun anymore and wants to go back to being a pig, something like that. And so that's how that wraps up. But yeah, that's kind of funny. So if they're designing a space station now, that means it's not going to get up into space for what, 10, 20 years? It's like,
I don't have that information. currently on me.
I don't think that information. I don't think that information exists. Period. I just
I'm sure it exists because they're planning a new space station. They have, I guess China does have the Tiangong space station, which has been occupied since June 2022.
Oh, okay.
And then, I don't know. Well, but the new one, there's a plan.
There's a plan.
There's for future space stations to replace the ISS, and what those are going to look like.
Excellent.
According to Newsweek, there is Axiom, which should launch by the late 2020s, and which is going to be 4 different modules assembled in space. There's going to be a new Star Lab launching in 2028. There's Bharatiya Antariksha, which is from the Indian Space Research Organization, that's set to launch in 2035. There's the Lunar Gateway launching in 2032 by NASA. And European Space Agency, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, Canadian Space Agency, and the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. Haven 2 launching in 2032. So yeah.
So there's a new space race kicking off here pretty soon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hope if we can get through just living on Earth here for the next couple of years, then maybe we have things to look forward to. All right. Well, hey, we have a little bit of time. I'm going to do a little future or now.
You got it.
Now. So I'm going to call this one, hey, everyone, breathe easy. So this comes from Science Daily. It was published on June 2nd. The title of this article is New Hydrogen Breakthrough Turns Waste Heat into Clean Fuel. A newly developed catalyst could slash the cost and temperature requirements of hydrogen production, opening the door to cleaner, locally generated fuel. So this is cool. I think I always say that. The only reason why I would bring an article is because I thought it was cool. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe and is widely viewed as an important clean energy source. When used as a fuel, it produces only water and heat, rather than carbon dioxide and other pollutants associated with fossil fuels. Hydrogen can also power fuel cells that generate electricity. Despite these advantages, around 95% of hydrogen production today still depends on fossil fuels. So here's the problem. Hydrogen as a fuel, excellent. How to create hydrogen for it to be a fuel, not good. Right. So we have this problem of like, it would be great if we just had a whole bunch of hydrogen, but we can't easily get there. So one way to produce hydrogen is through thermochemical water splitting, a process in which a catalyst separates water into hydrogen and oxygen. Existing thermochemical systems require extremely high temperatures. Water splitting typically occurs at 700 to 1,000 degrees Celsius, while the catalyst generation step often requires temperatures of 1,300 to 1,500 degrees Celsius before another production cycle can begin. So extreme heat extreme energy in this heat is required for this to work.
Yeah.
According to findings published in the International Journal of Hydrogen Energy, which is just a great read if you're into hydrogen energy. The new catalyst generated substantial amounts of hydrogen at temperatures between 150 to 500 degrees Celsius. It could also be regenerated at temperatures ranging from 700 to 1,000 degrees Celsius, roughly 500 degrees Celsius lower than current approaches. So this new catalyst can create the hydrogen at much lower temperatures, meaning less energy needs to be put into the system to get the hydrogen out. And that's great. That's amazing. So Professor Ding, which is, do they say who this is beforehand? I can't. Oh, yeah. Professor Yulong Ding from the University of Birmingham School of Chemical Engineering said, quote, the lower overall temperature of the process could enable hydrogen to be produced nearby renewable energy generation plants. And foundation industry sectors such as steel, cement, glass, and chemicals have an abundance of waste heat, which could be harnessed as the heat input for low-temperature hydrogen production. If the hydrogen is used locally, this would overcome the obstacles presented in storage and transport, so enabling the uptake of hydrogen fuel without the need for costly infrastructure. Dude, that's amazing. So to put that in layman's terms, because of this new catalyst can create hydrogen using lower temperatures, those temperatures are now low enough that waste heat from nearby industrial complexes that are doing, steel, cement, glass, other chemicals, they have heat that's just being thrown off into the environment as well. Well, if you could funnel that over to the hydrogen processing plant, we can just use that heat instead of having to generate that heat through energy through other means. Like, should we put hydrogen plants near all these data centers and funnel all that heat directly into creating hydrogen to then
with proper safety
just put them up. Don't even know city council's needed. Just throw them up. Just build them. Doesn't matter. Just go. Protected land. I didn't hear you. Just build it. Everyone loves this idea. Ignore the protesters. All thousands of them. Yeah. All right. So, potential cost advantages over green and blue hydrogen. Researchers also conducted a preliminary economic analysis. The results suggest the water splitting using the new perovskite catalyst. That's what the new catalyst is called. I don't know if I'm saying that word correctly. Perovskite or perovskite. I don't know the emphasis.
Perovskites.
Sure. So let's see. The new catalyst could produce hydrogen at a lower cost than both green hydrogen, which is produced from water by electrolysis, and blue hydrogen produced from methane with carbon capture and storage. So those are the two main ways that we're making hydrogen. The one made with methane is terrible because carbon comes out of it, and we need less carbon in our atmosphere. Thank you very much. The economic benefit appeared especially strong in areas where renewable electricity is relatively inexpensive, including countries such as Australia. So we got to think like renewable energy in our country has hit just a massive roadblock with the current administration. They want to put everything back to fossil fuels for some reason, and idiots are going, how come? And this is people that are in government. Solar is terrible because what happens at night? They're not generating energy anymore. And the response to that was like, there's been this incredible new discovery called batteries. Like the idiotic fight for like why renewable energy is not good is so dumb, just the stupidest.
Yeah.
If we continue to push ahead with wind energy, solar energy, all of these different types of renewable things, my goodness, would we be in a better position as a country? The article goes on a bit, talking about why thermochemical water splitting matters and how the perovskite catalyst actually works, which is kind of interesting. The perovskites are materials with a lattice-like structure that can absorb oxygen into their framework and help break apart oxygen-containing compounds. So the Birmingham team focused on a BNCF perovskites, which are made from barium, niobium, calcium, and iron, which is where the BMCF comes from. Those materials are relatively abundant and do not require complex manufacturing process and contain no toxic ingredients. This says no toxic ingredients. That needs to be defined, what a toxic ingredient is. I'm pretty sure if you eat all of these things, you will die, depending on the amounts. I think what that means is like to get those ingredients doesn't require any process that leaves behind, remnants that can't be taken care of. When we talk about like nuclear stuff, like there is nuclear waste that happens, right? That is toxic. It's bad stuff that we have no way of getting rid of. I think that's kind of what it's referring to here, is that those materials, the barium, niobium, calcium, and iron, they don't require some crazy process with stuff that's poisonous left behind, toxic that's left behind. Like it's much easier to get those things. So the researchers found that those BNCF perovskites can absorb oxygen at much lower temperatures than previously thought. Among the materials tested, a version known as BNCF 100 delivered the best performance. It could be regenerated at lower temperatures than existing water-splitting catalyst while continuing to produce hydrogen over 10 production cycles. So you have, 1 unit of this BNCF 100 stuff, and it can be used at low temperatures for over 10 production cycles before it needs to be replaced, which is amazing. Like this is where we need to move in energy production in our society. So this is good stuff. It's amazing. It's awesome. Our grandkids will hopefully have some kind of like, hey, here's a little home reactor that just takes hydrogen and which is abundant everywhere. And so power is no longer an issue. I remember we covered a story a long time ago. It might've just been when it was Devon and I talking about like home, nuclear power plants, or like a tiny or a mini nuclear power plant that's like in a box that could be buried that would produce enough energy for like a city block. And like that is like one way that, energy crises could be averted. Like, okay, every city block has one of these things that this whole block can just tap into at any time, and it can produce energy, X amount of energy for X amount of years. But it was just one of those things that really has no way of easily being, installed around the country, or, it's a huge deal. Like it's a technology that could exist, but to put it into production, to put it into actual use is a huge hurdle. Especially in the country where like we look at nuclear energy as being kind of like, don't know about that stuff, even though it's so incredibly safe. Let's move on beyond that. Let's go to renewables. That seems better.
Yeah.
So hydrogen, good stuff. So we're not, like I said before, we're not doing book club this week. That's gonna wrap us up, I believe. And
all right.
Next week, again, no book club. We're hitting the pause button on that. But next week should just be Devon and I, because Ben, you're going to be in.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where I'm at.
You might join. You might not.
I don't know.
You're doing a thing, so you might not be around,
Yeah.
and that's fine. And if you can join, that's cool too.
Sure.
But look forward to a Devon heavy episode next week. So gird your loins for that one. Do you have any last words for us this week, Ben?
Oh man, I tell you, like lately, after the kittens have gone, I've been sleeping like a baby. Like I've been waking up crying every few hours.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.